Hey everyone, Actualized Habits here, and today we're going to be going over emptiness. So, some habits that you'll often see when you feel emptiness, at least that I've noticed so far, is overeating, binge drinking, buying things, because you're trying to fill in this void, this gap that you can almost even physically feel. So when we feel this vacancy, we feel the need to fill it up with pleasures. So when I was in community college, I was going through a bit of a rough patch because I had just gotten out of high school. And I noticed that I noticed that a lot of my friends from high school were starting to go to college, like a real university, not community college. And it looked like they knew what they were doing. Like they knew their career, they knew the next 5 years, what it was going to look like. And as for me, I had no idea at the time, like what I wanted to study. I didn't know what school I wanted to go to. I was just going to school just to go to school. And so I felt this emptiness, this feeling of unfulfillment. And a way that I would cope with this feeling is I would save up all my money until the end of the week, and by Friday I would come home and then I would spend all of my budget on pizza. So I would order a large pizza, and then I would get even the sides, like the dessert, and I would eat the whole thing by myself. And when I think about it now, I kind of realize that I was trying to fill this void with food, this temporary pleasure, right? And I could have dealt with things a little bit more differently. I could have been more open with the way I was feeling. I could have reached out for help or support by my friends or, even a therapist. So let me ask you this question. Have you ever felt this emptiness? Have you ever experienced emptiness to the point where you needed to go out and have a limited amount of alcohol, or you needed to eat in order to feel better, or you needed to go have one night stands to fill that void? There's this interesting thing that happens when you're feeling this emptiness, and you go out to a social gathering, this cognitive dissonance. So what happens is that maybe you'll go out with some friends and you'll go out to a bar or something to enjoy the time. Maybe it's the weekend and you guys are just hanging out together. You're around friends, right? And you're having a good time, but you feel this cognitive dissonance because inside you feel this void, like this emptiness, this need to fill up the void by drinking and by being around friends that maybe might not help with the void, but they have a temporary band-aid over it. So the cognitive dissonance comes when you fill up your time and your environment with all of these pleasures, but you're not looking within and trying to figure out, well, why do I feel empty? And where does this emptiness come from? So, this episode is just all about figuring out where that emptiness is, where does it reside in the body, what can we do about it, and what are some healthy ways that you can feel much better about this emptiness. And we're going to break down that concept so that you can start to realize that, you know what, maybe that emptiness was a concept. Maybe it is a concept, and maybe it doesn't really exist. You know, what if I'm not empty and I'm already whole? And you can't really say you understand that until you kind of have a breakthrough or some sort of insight. And these questions are made so that you can get those insights on your own. So when you feel empty, what does it feel like in your body? What areas in your body does that emptiness reside in? Do you feel it in the chest? Maybe in your head? Maybe in the stomach? Think about where emptiness resides in your body. So when you're empty, when you're feeling empty, what do you call that sensation? Do you call it hunger? Do you call it depression? Do you call it just being tired? Do you call it loneliness? What do you call it when you feel empty? So let's dig a little bit deeper and ask, did this emptiness always exist? And if it didn't, when did it first come up? Did it come from childhood? Past life? What age were you when you started to feel this emptiness? Now let's break that down. Do you think maybe there's times where you don't feel this emptiness? What are you doing when you don't feel empty? What's that like? Think about the experience you feel when you're not empty. Are you surrounded by friends, family? Are you distracting yourself? When you're not empty, what are you doing differently from when you are empty? What are ways that you try to not feel this emptiness? And what are healthier coping skills that you can use to feel whole again? Maybe you can do some meditation. Maybe you can do some journaling. Go for a run. Talk to a good friend. Build a support system. What do you do? What are some healthier coping skills that you can use? All right. So, what I want you to do with these questions is meditate on them. You know, sit down, think about the answers to these questions. And something you need to realize is that that idea of emptiness was created by society. You know, it was created by us. And like these questions are for you to understand that this emptiness, it's not true, and it's a concept created by society and, you know, Western culture, and from past experiences in order for us to understand what's going on, to bring understanding and awareness. And these questions are for you to bring awareness to that emptiness, and for you to realize that the emptiness is a concept and it doesn't exist. So there is no emptiness. How can there be emptiness within a person who's already whole? When you start to uncover these labels that we're going to be going over, you're going to realize that a lot of things that exist in our reality are just concepts. And these concepts tend to limit us, like I've said before in the introductory video. We're just being limited by these concepts. There's this book by Rupert Spira that's about presence, and I recommend this book. But the whole idea about this book is that it talks about how when you start to let go of all these labels and concepts that were created by humans, you start to realize that what lies underneath is happiness, presence, peace, authenticity. And that's what we're trying to do with this self-inquiry is, we're uncovering the true nature of ourselves. So there is no emptiness. We're already a whole human being. See, here we're just trying to uncover the authentic self, except emptiness limits us from seeing it. And so when we let go of that idea that we're empty, that we need things, all these things to fulfill ourselves, to make us whole, you start to realize that you already are whole. Just go over these questions, meditate on them, journal them, do whatever it is you gotta do to think these through, and if you start to realize all these concepts, you'll gain a much better understanding of who you truly are. So the next concept is gonna be suffering, which will be out by Monday. Let me know if you enjoyed this series, and that's it for now. Thank you.